14, I've got 2 loans that are investment. Right? So any adjustments that I can make before settlement are based on those 2 loans being investment.
Yeah.
Right? I can't go back and change anything.
I
That's what
realise
those guys are
Yes,
for.
that's
there,
what
right?
they're for. Yep.
So
I
that's
realise that.
Well, that's obviously a big issue.
It is.
My email's probably going to seem like a waste of time because that sort of needs to be resolved first.
No, it's all confirmation of stuff.
But,
nothing's wasted.
Like I said to you, I can only work with what's in front of me.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I've got 2 loans that are investment. Right? I've now done a rate review as per the other day.
Yep.
Where's my email? So looking back at the 29th, so going back to when the loan was in arrears and everything was paid up on the 29th of the 6th, 2020. Right, that's when that lump sum of yours went in.
And then again later, put another $5,000 on, another $3,000 on later in the year, and still nothing changed.
So when you would have spoken to Mark around that time to do a rate review, Mark couldn't do a rate review until the loan was back in normal.
Which I did in front of him.
Which was
so done
that's
in
where
office
my
in front
email
of him.
comes into it.
Yep. Done in
29th of the 6th, 2020, loan was back into arrears. At that point in time, we never made a rate adjustment, which we should have, because the loan's now been brought back into square up, right? So that's where my email comes into. Outside of what NAB Resolve is going to do, what Mark should have done is on the 29th of the 6th when the loan was paid, a rate review should have been done at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking into account that at that point in time, we're still working with 2 loans that are both investment.
Sure.
Right?
But that's something that we discussed. That's something that we discussed then, and I brought up all those. It's the same conversation
So
that I had.
even if Mark
it's
did
the same conversation.
what he should have done, right, and at that point in time had the conversation we're having today, we would have picked this up, and on the 29th of the 6th, 2020, we would have done 2 things.
I'll tell you what he said.
Yep.
What he said was that they're so backlogged at the moment with everything that it's going to be at least 3 months, 2 or 3 months until this can be going to be applied. And I said it will be backdated, and he goes probably not. And I said, but that makes no sense.
If you're taking 3 months, that's your problem.
Exactly.
Us,
and
so the interest rates would have been, is that what we're getting to?
Well, that's what I'm getting. So 2 things that should have been done on the 29th of the 6th. You've done your part by squaring up the loan, right? So the loan's now
in front in person,
not in arrears, the loan's off date. So at that point in time, we should have done a rate review, right? And we
this
also
is the
should have
100th
done...
time that it's been caught up though, and nothing changes. This is what is so concerning.
Well, at least we have...
me. I know it's so
verifiable.
I know. This is only from where you come in. This has been a long-standing mismanagement from day one. For the last 7 years, it's been just problematic from day one.
That's the first thing. We should have done that rate review.
Absolutely.
Right at that point in time and applied that. At the same time, we should have then realised what we're talking about now is that both of these loans are an investment. Right? So had we changed from the 29th to the 6th, one of those loans, the loan purpose, should have been the other thing we should have done at the time. Had these 2 things happened, that's my email. So that my email covers that period moving forward, right?
Yes.
I've noted in there that at the time investment
and
loans...
this covers the previous. Yep, okay.
NAB Resolve is going to bring us up to speed.
Back to 17.
Here.
Yep.
Right?
But as at June
Like
2020...
I can only work with what's
I
in
know,
front
what's
of me,
in front of you. I know,
So these 2 things should be done.
This is why it just keeps going on.
My email and that calculation of refund that I've calculated out takes into account that these 2 things were done on that day.
So that's effectively 14 months.
So that's the rate of change, the adjustment in interest.
But what is the interest adjusted down to?
Down to what the rates would have been at this point in time.
Which were?
And any adjustment in RBA's decisions since then.
But can you tell us what that rate
That was? I put all that in the email. So the owner-occupier rates would have been 3.67.
I haven't looked this way yet. But it's still in the 3%.
Can you tell from the email what they were at the time?
Yeah, so
what was it?
On the 29th of the 6th, the rates on offer at the time for investment were 4.27.
Jesus.
And for owner-occupier were 3.67.
Okay. Just on that basis, and I know that this is not your issue, but Do you recall this was part two,
This is when
that
they sta- no,
that
this
your records Mark
This is
didn't document the conversations had. We know that.
Well, it should be, and
The
formal
NAB
letter-
failed to make the appropriate
and
notes.
the formal letter of complaint should be there as well.
Yep.
Because Mark was taking
But
notes and
what
said he
did
would
Mark
send
say
that
the
off.
interest rate was? Because I
Oh, it-
distinctly remember you saying it was
Oh, it was
closer to
about-
2.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So
yeah,
she was
yeah,
informed
Yeah.
Even
Which I
at
was
the
paying
time,
attention
not 4.27, not
Because everyone was a
3.67,
bit.
Yeah.
but he concurred
Yeah,
it was close to 2.
it was closer to 2.
Now, if that was the only rates that were available at the time, then so be it. But again, we have a discrepancy, which I believe is Mark giving this individual, Miss Watson, false information.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I know that's not your issue, but I'm stating for the record, these are the interest rates that have been now applied for at least 12 months.
Yeah.
And we will be taking up the Resolve team. Not only that, but we need to add, if it's a separate issue,
Yep.
the incorrect information, quoting a close to 2% interest rate, which you could get last year, I
Yeah.
know that, to Miss Watson.
NAB was even advertising their lower home loans. It's
So
around
that's,
that.
is that a
What-
separate...
What
But
you
this
see
is why-
advertised is not applied to everyone.
No,
so
I
you
realise
just
that.
But is
have to be
I
that-
aware of
realise that. And again, I think it came down to like the status of the properties.
Status of the properties, values
Yeah.
of the loans, the
Yeah.
more you borrow, the lower the rate. There's a
Yeah,
million
all
different
that sort of things.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So the fact
exactly.
is that
Yeah.
a separate issue with the NAB Resolve team?
I would lodge that as a separate.
Separate.
Would you please
Yeah.
do that as well?
Yeah. I
Okay,
would lodge that as
because,
separate.
because,
Thanks.
okay,
Because
you
where
have,
these rates are, where I
you've
pulled these
addressed the
rates from,
issue that he didn't, thank
Yeah.
you. But so we also need to lodge a separate complaint regarding the quoted interest rate and the actual interest rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you have a copy of what Mark's given you at the time?
Yes, well, he didn't give me
Yeah.
really anything, but I do have everything in a folder, like
Yeah.
everything that I took at the time. Yeah,
I would lodge,
I've
I
got
would
that
lodge
there,
that as
so
a
I'll have another scrounge.
separate anyway because
We'd like you to action
Yeah, I
that.
think so too. That just makes more sense.
So
because
what
I've
would-
actually pulled up the historical rates
Yes.
at that date, and
Right.
that's
That's
where-
it. I mean,
that's
I
where
know
these
we
are
can't-
coming from, right?
So
And it matches because at the time, on that date, looking at your statements, your investment loans were both sitting on 4.27,
Oh, good. Okay,
which is
cool.
what
There you go.
the historical
So that
rates
was what-
data that I've pulled up
Sure.
states. The only problem here is both of our loans were on 4.27
yeah,
If that
because both were investment.
yeah.
Right or wrong, they were both under investment. So had Mark
Mm.
picked that up and changed one of them to owner occupied, that's the rate at the time that would have been
That would have
offered
been
as a
applied to
variable
one of them.
rate
To one of them.
to one
Yes.
of them.
Yep.
As
yes,
a variable
exactly, and that's it, exactly.
Now whether now just to your point
Exactly.
there, that's the variable rate on
Yeah.
offer. Whether there was fixed rates that are lower, that's a completely different
Nope,
conversation.
I think we discussed variable because he anticipated things dropping that bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, apply the variable for
So
that reason.
that's I'm working on variable rates here, and that's where I pulled
Yeah.
up what NAB was offering
Nope,
on
that
that
makes-
day
yep.
at that time.
That all sounds
So
very
my
familiar. Yep.
Email to you guys is had one of those loans been on 3.67 up until when you guys came to see me, we've paid an additional $740 in
$46,
interest,
yes.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
So I can
Yep.
refund
Apply
that
to that,
part
yep.
before settlement. That's not a
Excellent.
problem.
Thank you.
At the time, the other
Terrific.
day, whenever you guys came to see me as well, I then did another rate review, right, and dropped the rates even further to 3.24.
Great.
Again, variable investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving forward, we're obviously going to have one settlement happens on Monday. We're going to have 2 loans left. For simplicity purposes,
Yes.
as you requested, we're going to merge
Yes.
these into one loan.
Yep.
That loan is then going to be converted to owner-occupier,
Yep.
and then it's going to have another rate review done by me
Yep. Perfect.
because it's now owner-occupier.
Yep,
So
that's
that
perfect.
3.24 that you're currently paying on investment will be less again because it's now going to be owner-occupier.
Perfect.
Again, variable. If
Yep.
you then want to, at that time when the loans are merged, look at fixing, we can have that conversation.
What's
Yes,
separately.
we'll have that
Now,
conversation.
if for example
hopefully
this
we'll
was
load it.
done, if for example this was done today,
Yep.
and Helen said, okay, on the $208,000 merge loan, I want to go onto a fixed interest rate.
Yep.
Is NAB, I should say, anywhere near 2% because we of course know already that you can go straight to
Yeah.
Bendigo or whatever,
Yep.
and do a new loan, which of course is manageable because it's
Yeah.
200, and get that interest rate.
We can have a look right now.
Exactly.
Now, just to jump in there when you guys keep saying new loan, me merging these into
Yeah.
It's
one,
not a new loan.
It's not a new loan.
it's not gonna,
No, I know.
I just want to clear this up because people think when we say new loan, we're going to put you through an application.
No,
There's nothing for
it's
you
a merge.
to do.
Yeah.
We're just going to merge it. You're
Yeah.
going to sign one
Existing
document. That's
merged.
it. That's
Okay.
it. Let's go in
And if we were to do that for 208, I know that they may change in after
Yeah.
the 30th.
But like you said, but that's exactly what I'd been told before. The numerous times that I'd had caught up and was ahead on both Malones, that I'd have to apply for a new product.
Yeah.
It's a different product that I have to apply for. And that's what I was constantly
If you
told,
wanna-
and that I wouldn't be able to get it because my income was insufficient.
Only
Again,
the only time I'm going to put you through a new application is if I'm
just constantly told.
increasing the amount
The
that
limit.
you borrow.
Yes, exactly.
Or
Exactly.
at times,
Mm,
if you're
mm,
buying and selling a property,
mm.
which in your case you're selling one,
Mm.
but everything else stays the same.
Everything else
there's,
stays the same.
There's no application.
Yes, exactly, which makes sense, and that was always my understanding. That's why
Mm-mm.
it
So this is only,
never made sense.
what we're doing now is
This is through
hypothetical.
the NAB assist
No.
line as well. This is what I've been told constantly, numerous times.
The,
Yeah, it's just been a nightmare.
so this is a hypothetical at the moment that we're looking at.
Yes, I'll do that now.
So
Thank
if
you,
you went
Borco,
on to
appreciate
a
it.
fixed, like just guesstimation based on
Mm.
today,
Mm.
can they come anywhere near 2? Because as we know,
Oh, absolutely.
we had the conversation the other day with
Bindigo.
various others who
Yeah.
did.
Bindigo looking very, very nice, aren't they?
And you're certainly trying.
You've been so
Borco.
good. I know, Borco. I can't thank you
Borco,
enough.
Borco.
Like, you've been great.
I knew a
That's
chap
really
called
good.
Blanco once. That's why I keep
That's what you keep saying.
saying
yeah.
Branco. Sorry, Branco.
It's probably my part of the world. There's
Yeah.
plenty of those.
Yeah, I
Plenty
can
of
tell
those
by
over
your
there.
surname.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to roughly have 208.
I'm just going to stop